Okay, let's look at section 1.4, the Service Value System, or SVS as it's more commonly referred to. In many ways, this is the sort of high-level structure for ITIL 4, okay? And we talk about it as a system, okay? So for service management to function properly, it needs to work as a system. So the Service Value System contains all the sort of key components, that are needed to be in place for the successful management of services and the creation of value through our products and services. Okay, so we'll look at these in a bit more detail. I tend to view the Service Value System as a bit of an overlay on top of the organisation that you consider to be the provider organisation. For some organisations, actually the Service Value System can be an overlay for the whole enterprise, but it's probably easier just to think of the Service Value System initially as perhaps an overlay for the service provider organisation. So this system, all its components apply to the whole of the service provider organisation. Okay, so here is the graphic, the illustration of the Service Value System, the SVS. So we'll look briefly at the key components, and we'll look at the sort of input and the output. Probably easy to do the input and the outputs first. So when we look at inputs to the service value system, we have this sort of opportunity stroke demand. So an opportunity is exactly that. It's the opportunity to maybe do something different. That might be an opportunity that's raised from a consumer. It might be an opportunity to use different technology, maybe from a supplier or vendor. Or it might be an opportunity that we see in terms of maybe some different products and services that we could perhaps provide to our current consumers. Opportunities are just that. They're things we consider. They may be kicked into the long grass. Maybe it was just not the right thing to do now, or maybe from just a viability point of view, we don't see financially it makes sense to do, but we've considered it. But where an opportunity is sort of crystallised into something that we actually think we should take forward, then of course we need to understand what would the demand for that new product or service actually be. So ultimately, one of the key inputs to the activities that we undertake will be, of course, demand. And again, when we look at the outputs in terms of the whole ITIL 4 sort of raison d'etre is through our products and services, we deliver and continue to deliver value. Okay, so the primary sort of, if you like, outcome from the service value system is value from our products and services. So let's look at the sort of components at high level. So we've already covered guiding principles. So guiding principles, as we've said, give people a suggested approach we should consider whenever looking to create something new, change something that exists, or maybe even when we're looking to decommission or retire. So we've already covered the guiding principles. Governance is about direction. It's about providing direction for the organisation. Often that will manifest itself in terms of things like policies and controls. Are we doing the things we should be doing? We need to evaluate that we're making the progress we should be making, and if not, change it. So governance is making sure that we're following the direction that's essential for the success of our service provider organisation. We go from the bottom of the graph up, we've got continual improvement. So continual improvement is something that really applies to everything in the service value system. Okay, so when we talk about continual improvement, it applies to everything. Whether it's people, practices, processes, tools, value streams, anything and everything. This is quite a big difference from ITIL version 3. ITIL version 3 talked about continual service improvement. It's now called continual improvement. Maybe continual service improvement implied that we only really looked at improving services. Whereas in fact we should be looking at everything we do in the organisation. Every activity, everything we perform, we should always be asking the question, can we improve it? Can we make it better? So continual improvement, it's drop service because it's not just about focusing on the services, it's about looking at everything we do. Quite often in a version 3 world, people not close to day-to-day service, maybe one step removed, thought continual improvement didn't apply to them. Actually in ITIL 4, continual improvement applies to everything and everybody. So quite a big difference there. Practices. So practices are the sort of combination of people, yeah, of processes and tools, yeah. So this collection of organisational resources, yeah. So practices. We'll cover the practices most appropriate to create, deliver and support in later sections. But yeah, practices, probably a better label than perhaps process, because in version 3, for example, we talked about incident management and talked about it very much as a process. Well, it's more than that. Yeah, it's about the people and the skills. It's about the tools that we use. It's about the processes that we follow. So practices we'll cover as appropriate for create, deliver, support in a later section. And then finally at the core, the service value chain. Okay, and this is where we actually document the sort of activities that we undertake. Okay, so to create value, to respond to that demand, what's the actual activities we need to undertake, yeah, and how do the different activities sort of interrelate with each other. Okay, so the service value chain we'll look at in a bit more detail in the next section.